Hi, everybody. Whoops. Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
It's going to be 43 degrees Celsius here. It's 110. I just thought everybody would like to know that for some reason. Okay, Mike, let's get started. If you'll please do the mandala. Please make the mudra.
Sashi Puki Jukshin Me Tok Tram Rirabling Shi Ninde Genpadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Jokun Namdak Shingla Druparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatayami.
I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create, from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create, from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, may I attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, compassion, knowledge, and strength, the Dharma, the enlightened side of truth, and the Sangha, the community of realized beings. From the virtuous merit I create, from the practice of giving with the understanding of emptiness, moral discipline with the understanding of emptiness, patience with the understanding of emptiness, joyous effort with the understanding of emptiness, concentration and wisdom, I will attain the state of a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. Okay. Let's start off with rejoicing. Yay! Who's going to start? Olga, what do you have to rejoice in today?
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hello, Venerable Sumati. So last days, I'm trying to be happy for some small things and to be thankful for these small things like food, like just simple sunshine, like that I'm breathing, like I'm just trying to feel lucky that I am a human being, that I was lucky to be born as a human, and I have a mind and I can study, learn Dharma, and so I'm very thankful for this, and I try to feel this happiness inside of me, like for each small things around me, and to plant these seeds. First of all, to be happy, and for the second, to get rid of seeds of anger, like because anger, as we know, starts from some small seeds of not being happy. So I'm trying to be happy each moment.
Good.
To live without anger.
Good. It's the small things. I find it's so easy to look at the big picture and get lost, lose the small things, because we tend to think the small things aren't going to be important, but as we know, the small things grow. And so good. And you're looking at so many different aspects of your life. That's all encompassing. That's really good. Okay, Daria, what do you have to rejoice in this morning or this evening or whatever?
Okay, good morning, Venerable Sumati. I need help, Olga, because I have good information.
Okay.
Today, one parent wrote an accuse for me. I was very upset, but at the same time, I said to myself, stop. This is my seeds growing. You can be now angry, but you can't do anything because you can't control this situation. Yes, of course, I'm trying to speak something, but not as before. And I became happy because I could stop this train at least a little bit. This train of anger, I stopped it.
Oh, you finished? Good.
Yeah, and I'm very happy.
Good for you. That's a huge step to catch yourself and realize that what you were going to do is the old-fashioned response, and what you want to do is the new Daria. I'm really proud of you. That's great. Now you got to do it every time. But you caught yourself. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. It makes me very happy. Okay, Mike.
That every time thing really gets me, you know. I want to rejoice that I have been working on my Tibetan and I learned how to read Uchen, and it just kind of I was spending a lot of time on it, and it just seemed to like kind of come to me. And like within a week I can like read Uchen for some reason. And I I want to rejoice in that, and I want to dedicate it to people finding things that interest them enough that they want to study them, and and you know, people learning things easily. So thanks.
Good. Good. That must be an incredible feeling. I didn't get that proficient. I just have this, I don't know, a block on languages, but to be able to read it is an incredible karma ripening. Now, what you have to do is figure out how you can perpetuate that for other people. So,
Yeah, I can't understand it. I got to work on word definitions now.
Yeah, well, make what I found helpful in my career is start making a vocabulary list. As you get a word and understand it, write it in a list, and I think you'll be surprised. Then go back at that list every day and memorize it. A few words at a time. That's what it's like. Acronyms for me in the military. SAC, Strategic Air Command. That's an easy one. But how about? I'm trying to think of a hard one now. But memorize and work on memorizing them, and then you'll find it all drops into place. it's like memorizing lists or things in the Tibetan Book of Lists that I put together. Having that sort of resource instantly available is huge. So now you got to put your ability to read Uchin to good use. So that's your next hurdle. Okay, let's see who's next. Wendy.
Hi, everyone. So I was rejoicing yesterday. I had an opportunity to help somebody, and I just thought how lucky I am to be in a position that I could help this person. So he was a guy. He was Hungarian. Just happened to be at the train station when I was getting the train. He didn't speak any English or French. He was trying to get to Germany, and I had the idea to use my phone, use Google Translate. So we were passing the phone between us to be able to converse. And I thought, wow, it's amazing that I've got this in my hand that allowed us to be able to do it, and I could help him. And then he was financially a little bit stricken, so I could buy his ticket for him. And even though it wasn't very much, the fact that I had the resources to be able to do that is really lucky. So yeah, I felt really fortunate to be able to help somebody, and yeah, it was really nice, and to find a way to do it, and yeah, and like so lucky to have this technology now to be able to do that. Like I'm sure we would have figured it out, we would have done a lot of gesturing and stuff, but it allowed it to be so much smoother. I could help them, so yeah.
Well, you have the karma ripening now to have access to incredible tools in the palm of your hand. That's
It's amazing.
That's just simply amazing. But now what you need to do is continue to help help people understand the resource. Your generosity was excellent. It all, well, just like Daria, it's all coming together now. Now that the task is to have that happen every day and be equally joyful every day. I remember when I was interviewing Admiral for my first book, and he looked at my watch. I had a watch from Casio, and it was an engineering watch, so it had all these engineering functions on it. And he looked at that and he said, "You have on your wrist is something that I can't even conceive of back when I was trying to calculate the coordinates for launching a missile." Said we had the old mechanical calculators where you'd type in and you'd pull a lever and it would rack up and make a calculation. The funny thing was I used that very same calculator when I was a technician at the agronomy department at UC Davis. So I was familiar with the old way of doing it and the new way. It was really remarkable. I don't think we really appreciate just how powerful the seeds that are ripening now, just how powerful technology is for us. And we need to be sure to perpetuate that, which means not so much showing people how to use social media, and that would be one way, but making sure to communicate clearly and quickly with everyone. But I'll get to that when I get to my rejoicing. So very good. I'm just boy, three for three. We're doing pretty well. Okay, no pressure, Katya. You're up next.
Okay. Well, I rejoice that yesterday I had lunch with my family, with my dad and his sisters, and we start talking about the suffer of the world, about what makes each of us suffer, and we talk about good deeds that we have to create. We have to do good action, and what I really like is that at the end, my dad said that, and remember that in the night you have to do rejoice. and that was really really nice, because he always heard my sister and me talking about that. So when he said that to her sisters, it was really really nice that he thought he teach them how to do the rejoice.
Wow, this just keeps getting better.
Yes.
Wow, well, that's wonderful. It's a beautiful example of, and a positive one, about how you act in the world is reflected in other people's thoughts. I remember when I was just, the school was starting at Diamond Mountain, I had one student come up and he said, "David, I want to be just like you." And I thought, "Oh, really?" He said, "You're always helping others. You're always thinking of others first. And I want to be just like you." So I took that to be a demonstration that how I acted all the time was an important teaching. You can teach in so many different ways, and one of them is being sure that your actions are what you'd like a student to do. So, as I've said more than once, the best offering for me from a student is to put into practice what I'm teaching. And I think that's something that it's frequently lost on students and on teachers. I always, when we were at Diamond Mountain, whenever I did anything, I thought, if Lama Christ or Geshe Michael shows up right now, am I doing what they would want me to be doing in the way they'd want me to be doing it? It's kind of like that with parents, I guess. But, okay, so now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5. Okay, no pressure, Svetlana.
Yeah, I would like to rejoice in some maybe small but very nice coincidences. Like today in the morning and in the beginning of the lunchtime, there was a free degustation of Mexican food just in front of the doors to my office building. And I found it so interesting and amazing. They were giving guacamole and some beverages, and it was for free. And they gave me some card, like a coupon with some coupon, and it was written "Ticket to Mexico." It was so funny. It was amazing. And then when I was returning after the lunch, they were already closed. So they were closed. So it's like teaching of impermanence. So it's like a bubble which is ripening, but it's so magic. And the second rejoicing is that yesterday I wanted to cook some food to get to my office, but I slept earlier. But today at the evening, when I returned home, my neighbor, my old lady, she told me, "Would you like to come eat? I prepared some porridge," and that is exactly porridge which I wanted to cook. So that is such a coincidence also, and I rejoice in that beautiful moments that we can plant what we want and dedicate that every being can create the Buddha paradise for the sake of everyone else. Yeah.
Good for you. Excellent. I just, wow. It's just, it keeps getting better and better. I think something that we all need to do, and this is evidence that you're all doing it, is you're looking for signs in you're looking for opportunities and signs that your practice is working. Excuse me. That's well, this is wow. I don't know what else to say. Okay, Katrina, what rejoicing do you have?
Hello, everyone. Olga, can you help me, please? Спасибо.
I will help.
Я рада, что сегодня был
I'm happy that today there was event.
Я зависла. Зависает, да?
I don't hear Ekaterina.
Hmm. You have to unmute.
Я рада, что я в своем родном городе.
I'm happy that I'm in my own city. I met
С родителями.
with my parents. I haven't seen them for a long time.
Я рада, что я с детьми соединила их с бабушкой и дедушкой.
And I'm happy that I connected my parents with my grandmother and grandfather.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Well, that must have been very nice. Okay. Okay, who's Tatiana?
Добрый вечер, Лама Сумати.
Good evening, Lama Sumati. I'm without camera today. I'm very happy that I'm here on this class and I see you all. Yesterday, it was a very difficult day for me because I fell ill, and for my country, it was very bad news. And I'm happy that I found compassion in myself and I didn't fall into anger. And I saw that around me, people are coming together and I saw seeds of connections. And today I'm almost healthy and feel better. And now I'm taking care of my mother.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you see the world improving. I wish I could say the same. But taking care of your mother is a very powerful karmic object. So dedicate that to being able to be taken care of in the future. And Katrina, seeing your parents after so long and your grandparents is something I know you treasure, and make sure that you're, by seeing them and making them happy, you're setting the seeds in the future for them to make you happy down the road. So the little thing that you don't think something that's seemingly to many people is as tiny as seeing your parents or your grandparents, that's very important. Very important. They're powerful karmic objects, whether you get along with them or not. They're powerful karmic objects. And anytime you can make a powerful karmic object happy or proud of you, sets enormous seeds. Okay, Yevgeny, what do you have to rejoice about?
Доброе утро, Лама Сумати.
Good morning, Lama Sumati. Today I want to share with you that I'm happy that I'm here on this lesson and finally I can listen. This course I already learned 2.5 years and I'm listening to this course for the second time and I'm very happy. And last night I saw the dream that I became Buddha. I saw myself like a Buddha and felt myself like a Buddha. I had wheels on my feet and my body was blue and I had big ears. I don't know what is it, but this dream was like motivation for myself. Like I saw myself in the future. Maybe it's like a motivation for me.
Now you saw your Buddha nature ripen. Wow. I've never had a dream like that. I bow to you. That's excellent. See it for just what it is. It's a glimpse in the future, and you're doing the right things. Wow. Well, that's going to be hard for me to top. I saw Camilla. I didn't know Camilla was on the second screening. Camilla, you still there? And I'm sorry, I've got another student whose name is in Russian. I don't have any idea what her name is.
Alena.
Alena.
Okay, Ilona. Okay, what do you have to rejoice in?
Всем добрый вечер, дорогой Лама.
Good evening for everybody, dear Lama Sumati. I'm very happy that I can be here on these classes and listen to this wisdom. And I'm very happy that now we have technical opportunity when for 3,000 kilometers from each other, we could call to our closest with my father, grandchild, and to be happy. And also I'm very happy that gradually I'm starting to understand and learn wisdom, that before I was just listening to this information and now I understood that the time came and I could do homeworks and quizzes, and I'm very thankful for this, that Dharma came to my life. Thank you so much.
Wow, how inspiring. I'm really happy for you. It was a unique feeling when the Dharma came into our life. It was a very difficult time for both of us with her parents having just died, but it was so comforting to know it was up to me, it was up to us, how we were going to respond to the event and what we could do about it. And it's still something I think of every day when I get out of bed thinking Parkinson's could be over. And then when it isn't, I don't get upset. I just say, okay, it's another day to deal with it, another day to set the seeds for it to go away. And I'll keep trying. So what am I rejoicing about today? Well, we had a very nice visit from a student, came all the way from Great Britain just to meet me, which still blows me away. That's what can I say? We had a very nice time. We were able to counsel her on some issues she has from a Dharma standpoint. And we have a organization, a foundation called FORCE. It's the Foundation for Rawaling Community Education. It's a small, very small village in Nepal, and it's got a school that we're raising money for. And so my wife suggested at dinner that Dominique, she has two children that are 6 and 8 years old, that we could work with the kids and have them interact with the same age school children in Nepal and help them with their English, help them with cultural exchange. And so the reason we made the Force Foundation is now starting to come to fruition. And I also made the decision that in March of next year, provided my health doesn't stop me, I'm going to go to Nepal and I'm going to see the school. It's at 5,000 feet. I live at 2,800 feet, so the change in air pressure and oxygen level shouldn't be a problem. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We had dinner at the #1 restaurant in the United States. The #1 restaurant in the United States it's called Tamarico, and it's sort of a Central American fusion of different foods. Vegetarian, just unbelievably good food. And it's a very unassuming restaurant. And the only way you'd know they have a #1 in the United States, top 100 restaurants, is they have a plexiglass #1 in the counter when you order the food. It's just about this tall. It's nothing flashy, but the food is remarkable. So when you come to Tucson, I'll take you to Tamarico. That's your incentive. Don't come to see me. Come to get good food. So, but rejoicing. Well, I had an interesting thing happen this morning. I've been waiting for a long time, for almost 2 months now, for some information to be released from the Boeing Aircraft Company. And I haven't given up, but the historian that's working on its release for me wrote me this morning and said, it doesn't look like it's going to happen because I can't get a response. So as much as I really would like this information, I just wrote her back and said, well, we gave it a good try. I will wait and hope for some good news later. And I'll redouble my efforts to get people the information they need as quickly as I can. So my rejoicing is I didn't get mad. I didn't think ill of Boeing or anybody, or think that Anna hadn't done her job. I put it in perspective and said, I need to work on my karmic seeds to get this material that I need. So I don't think, did I tell you guys about something that happened last week regards my supplying information? There's a colonel that I know from my Minuteman book, and I sent him some information, and one of my articles I wanted him to be critiqued, and he wrote back and said, David, I need to talk to you. So I got to the conversation and thought he had found something wrong with the article. But he said, I just needed to share with you the 2 articles that you sent me were absolutely critical in my job working on the new Sentinel missile program. They provided information that I could find nowhere else in a way that was so clear, so useful. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I'm like, well, I just write these articles. I mean, that amazed me. I had no idea that would be of use to him in that manner. So we talked some more, and I said, well, if there's anything more I can do to help, let me know. And he asked, can I do anything to help? And I said, well, I'm trying to find this information from several different sources, and I've run up against a brick wall. So he said, well, Monty, a good friend of mine, knows the chief executive officer of one of the companies that I want to get information from, the CEO. So because of my desire to help others get what they need in a timely manner, I now have access to the CEO. And I'm hoping that he knows who to contact within his organization to help me get the information I want. So I'm very excited. Monty sent that to him on Friday. So, of course, I think he's dropped what he's going to do and is helping me now. And I'll hear from him any minute, which is silly. But it's the little things. I just sent those articles to this colonel because I thought he'd enjoy reading them. I had no idea that they were so important to what he was doing. So now I have the distinct pleasure to have helped in some small way with the development of this missile program. That doesn't get any better for me. So what else? I find that my lovely wife is looking cuter and more lovely every day. And I take such great joy in telling her that. And she takes great joy in hearing it. But I'm so blessed. I have all of you and I have my lovely wife. And so I rejoice in all those good things happening. Okay, now let me see, did I get everybody? Yeah, I think I covered everybody. Okay, so onward to class. Class is karma and emptiness. Now, you've heard me more than once, and you'll hear me many times again, teaching and talking about, when you teach about karma, you have to talk about emptiness. There are those two sides of the same coin. You can't, if you get a teaching on karma that doesn't use emptiness as part of the explanation, or emptiness that doesn't use karma as explanation, then that's not the best teaching. So I had an example that was really amazed me. A couple of days ago, I got an email addressed to David, which means the person doesn't know me all that well. It's not insulting. Most people know me by Sumati. Anyway, she said her husband was, he said he's a Buddhist, and so he's cheating on his wife, but he says that's okay because he's a Buddhist, and that's what Buddhists are allowed to do that. And I immediately thought, well, how did she get my name? Not in an angry way. I just was curious. And I thought, well, that's not important. She's asking for help. So I wrote back and I said, I think your husband's had a very poor explanation of karma and emptiness. I think he's thinking that because nothing is self-existent, it's okay for him to do what he wants. In my lineage, in my understanding, adultery is one of the worst things you can do. It's not, morality is very important. It's one of the three principal paths. You need to don't believe that that's what she said was, if he's a Buddhist, I don't want to be a Buddhist. And I thought, well, I've got to take care of this. So I very clearly, and I don't say it this clearly very often, but that's not the Buddhism I know. And he's very much in the wrong. And she wrote back and said, I'm going to call him out on it. I hope I didn't get her in in any harm, physical harm. I don't know. A husband that thinks that may be the kind that would react harshly to his wife saying that, but I don't know. But it's the first time. It's been a long time since I've had someone say somebody thinks Buddhism permits that. I just was really sad for the guy. I wonder where he's getting his teachings. This is an example, maybe, of someone reading on tantric text, and if you don't have the transmission for that particular deity, it can be very harmful. And he's causing, whether he believes in karma and emptiness or not, he's still generating the karma with this adultery. So I rejoice in that I was able to help her. And it brought back to my mind that not everybody understands karma and emptiness. Not everybody understands the responsibility of being a Buddhist. And what is our responsibility as a Buddhist? Our responsibility is to act in a way that other people would want to know what we know, that allows us to be so pleasant in life. And he's doing exactly the wrong thing if his wife feels that way about Buddhism. So I'm going to check in with her later today and see if she's okay. Now, this could all be a setup. This could be all fictional. But if it is, my response remains the same. So, okay, so karma and emptiness. Things are out there, but not self-existently. Everything we see, smell, hear, taste, or touch is a projection from our karma ripening. Because it's a projection, how can I put this? If we use the term projection, it sounds like, oh, it's not real. It's like a movie. There'd be another term. I'm a little hesitant to use this term, but I'm experimenting with it. Our karma ripens, then we see it. We materialize our karma, and then we see it. Because things are out there. I see each one of you. You're not in my mind. I can talk to you. If we're in the same room together, I could see you, interact with you. And the reason I can do that is because things are empty of self-existence, and I can ripen my karma and experience the result. So karma and emptiness and karma. Because things are empty, our karma can ripen. Because our karma can ripen, we appreciate the concept of emptiness, of potential, of materializing. So there's a famous 6 steps of Maitreya about how karma is created through the misunderstanding of emptiness. So these are known as the 6 steps of Maitreya, and it was taught in something called Uttara Tantra, which down the road we'll get to one of these days. Master Asanga was visiting Lord Maitreya's paradise and got a series of teachings on 5 books that were dictated to him, and one of them was Uttara Tantra. So here are the 6 steps. We're going to go through them slowly and talk about each one. There are karmic seeds and ignorant seeds, and these are different things. A karmic seed from a previous life or earlier in this life, depending on the propensity for ripening, ripens, flowers, producing a good or bad experience. At this stage in my life, an ignorant bakchak immediately ripens that makes the karmic bakchak seem self-existent. So, two types of ignorance pop up in our mind. Step 2, you see yourself, you grasp at the self nature of yourself, and you grasp at the self nature of the world around you. This grasping is the major contributor to the suffering world you see around you. Don't be mistaken here. We're not saying we do not exist. We're saying you're not self-existent. There's a very simple proof to this. If you were self-existent, everyone would know who you were. And you go into a room of complete strangers, everybody would look and say, "Hi, David. Hi, Sumati. How are you?" And they don't. They have no idea who I am. So I can't be self-existent. Self-grasping gives you the most trouble when you have the direct perception of emptiness for the first time. You are perceiving the emptiness of yourself. So number 3, you look at things pleasant or unpleasant as self-existent, forgetting in the case of someone who doesn't know that things are coming from their own side. You think they're coming from their own side. You develop attachment or aversion to the object, step number 5. You collect new karma by either thinking with aversion or attachment or acting with either. These are not simply wanting to get away from something, not to lose something. They are want to lose something and wanting to get away from based on the ignorance of objects. Famous example that's used many, many times. Your mother is coming at you with a knife. You wouldn't kill her to stop her. You would try to find a way to get the knife away from her and not hurt her in the process. So I have a story I often tell about working with difficult people in my line of work as a lab manager in a scientific laboratory. I had students from many different worlds, countries. And I found that in some countries, not so much in the United States, maybe it used to be, but in many countries, lesser developed countries, the educated are considered the elite. So if you have a PhD in Yemen or what's another? Yemen, we'll use Yemen. You're considered elite. You're considered one of the upper crust and special people. And I had a postdoc. When you get a doctor of philosophy, a PhD in science, you do what's called a postdoc. After you get your PhD, you go and study in another lab somewhere. And this young man was here from Yemen, and he made it clear that he was superior to everybody in the lab. I had a PhD in plant biochemistry. We were in a pharmacology lab. And the fact that I did not have a PhD in pharmacology meant I was a lesser individual in this guy's mind. And he treated me that way. So I didn't get mad. I tried very hard to work with him. And I finally figured out a way to work with him that I thought would help him understand a little bit more about how the world works. So I was in charge of purchasing equipment, and there was a fancy piece of equipment called a mass spectrometer that we needed to buy. And I had my own preference for the company I wanted to buy it from. But I decided I'd let Girma decide what company. So I went up to him, I said, "I've got 2 companies I'm interested in. I'd like your opinion as to which one we should buy." And this made him feel very important. And it's a big decision. It was a $100,000 piece of equipment. So he said, obviously, the spectrophysics machine is superior to the Hewlett-Packard. Now, I wanted to get the Hewlett-Packard because I thought differently, but I thought, okay, we're going to go with this. I'm going to have him make a decision. He's going to feel he's contributed to the lab, and which is okay. I didn't care if he got the credit for it. So we bought it. He was using it. And one day at a lab meeting with our boss present, he said, I have no idea why we bought that spectrophysics piece of equipment. It's terrible. It's useless. And I looked at him and I said, well, Germa, I'm pretty sure I talked to you about it, didn't I? And he goes, yes, you did. And I said, well, you made the decision we should buy that piece of equipment. So I'm sorry it's not what you wanted. I didn't say it in a hurtful way, but I said it in a way that he needed to take responsibility because he was trying to push the responsibility off on me. So the point of the story is I could have gotten mad at him. I could have said something like, well, you said we should buy it. We bought it and it was your mistake. But I didn't. I said, well, we bought it with your recommendation. So I wonder what's the problem with it? There's a way to approach it with asking him how to solve the problem versus blaming him. Now, it would seem to be maybe very small, but it's a seed I set in, I had the movement of the mind. I set the seed, planted the seed, and we'll harvest sometime in the future. But the point is, instead of acting with anger or aversion or something like that, I acted from the standpoint of this is my karma ripening from a past problem I've had with making decisions that didn't make sense at the time. And the way to deal with it is to knowingly work on this decision and my response to this decision. So, okay, this is where we come into the concept of the how and the why. I've discussed this before in relationship to my Parkinson. So I'd like to take a few minutes now, the how and the why. I'd like us each to think, we're going to take, let's go with 5 minutes. Try and think back on an example of the how and the why that's happened recently for you. So I use the example of Parkinson's to remind you of what I'm talking about. The how I have Parkinson's is because of my use of chemicals in my research career or exposure to pesticides. The why I have Parkinson's is because I was inconsiderate of others in the past. I inconvenienced others in the past because Parkinson's to me is inconvenience. It's just very inconvenient for me. So try and well, how can I explain it? If you know about the how and the why, you can deal with the things in your life much more effectively than if you just, I've got Parkinson's, it's not fair. I have Parkinson's, it came from a neutron event, from the cosmic ray, it came from chemicals. It doesn't really matter how I got it. It's why I have it. Now, why is the why so important? If the how was the only thing of importance in this, everybody who was exposed to the chemicals I was exposed to everybody who was exposed to the Roundup pesticide I was exposed to would have Parkinson's, but they don't. So the why I have Parkinson's isn't because of the chemicals. That may have given me Parkinson's, but the reason it gave me Parkinson's is because I inconvenienced people in the past. If I don't want Parkinson's in the future, I have to make sure that I don't inconvenience people, I don't frustrate people now, and dedicate that. And every time I get out of bed, instead of thinking, woe is me, I'm purifying yet another day of having Parkinson's. So let's spend 5 minutes. I'll be quiet and try and think of an example of how and why. Okay. Anybody want to volunteer? Wendy, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I can think of one recently. I was in Pakistan in May for a month, and at the end of the trip, we were very lucky. We got invited to someone's house. He was talking to us about the snow leopards, and he was very nice. His family made us lunch. It was wonderful. So we all ate the same thing, apart from me. I didn't eat the chicken. Everyone else, because I'm vegetarian, but everyone else ate the chicken. And that evening and the next day, 3 members of the party were very, very ill. The rest of them weren't. So we all ate the same thing. It was food poisoning that they had. It was quite violent food poisoning. We all ate the same thing apart from me. And 3 people got the food poisoning. So the how is there must have been something maybe in the chicken, some bacteria or something. But the why did only 3 people get it when everybody ate the same thing and the other 5 people didn't? It must be karma.
Right. Very good. That's, yeah, that's.
It wasn't very good for them. They didn't enjoy it.
You were in Pakistan? What were you doing in Pakistan?
I was skiing. I was skiing at altitude in Pakistan.
Skiing. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Very lucky. So that was very, very good karma that ripened for me. I did lots of dedication to be grateful for that.
Good. Okay, that's a that's the how is somewhat the rationalization. The why is understanding karma. So Olga, how about you?
Okay, I remember that I was studying many years in musical school as playing piano. And finally, after some years, I got, these problems with spine, like scoliosis. And I always told to everyone that this is because I played a lot piano. But now, of course, I understand that if everyone who played piano a lot then would have this disease. So that's why it's my karma to have this scoliosis. It's not because of piano playing.
Right. Very good. It's very important to look at the how and the why for everything that happens in your life, because as you do that, you'll get more and more convinced that it's karma and you'll do something about it. Okay, let's go. Daria, do you have an example?
Yes, I have. Ну, в детстве у меня все время получалось.
In my childhood,
Я защищала других
I protected other children in my school.
Что говорили, да, какие у нас группировки, я все время получала за это.
And but I always was beaten because of this. And I was upset. I saw anger. And I thought, why? Why is it so? Why is it so in the world? Because it's unfair. And now I think I didn't listen to my mother. I was arguing a lot with my mother. She said not to do this, but I did it. And then my seeds were ripening, and now I see these conflicts around me. So like this. That's all.
No, okay. Well, you were reacting in an ignorant way to your very powerful karmic object, your mother. So now you see the conflict, and now you know how to take care of the conflict by not frustrating your mom and trying to help others. I'm sorry you were beaten up as a kid. That's tough to handle, especially. But think how wonderful it would be if you're 8 or 9 years old now and studying the Dharma. That student of mine, Dominic's children, are going to have a unique opportunity at the age of 6 and 8 to start studying Buddhism. I think that's, and I'll be part of that perhaps. Wow, that's a powerful opportunity for me to help those young men understand how the world works and what they can do about it. That's the big responsibility that I'm looking forward to. Okay, Mike, what do you have?
Mine's a little personal. Just I'm experiencing a lot of ripenings right now. Things, I don't know, it just seems like nothing's working. And things that I've done in the past, how do I put this vaguely? Just I'm seeing a lot of things happening in my life right now that are similar to bad deeds that I've done in the past, and I'm seeing them come back to me in ways that like I can't see seeds ripening, obviously, but like I'm seeing things happen and then I'm going, oh my God, this is because of the thing, isn't it? Like, this is because of the thing. And I'm having a reaction to where I would normally have a reaction of like anger or like, why is this happening? Or like, I don't want this to be happening. Now I'm having a reaction of more of like, aha, all right, like just chill out and ride the wave until this is over so you don't start programming more of this into reality.
Good.
So thanks.
Good. Well, no, it seems so much of this seems so obvious now that we've been studying karma and emptiness, but it's if you catch yourself saying the how and the why, but it's karma, my karma, but that's what we don't want to do. So catch yourself thinking that and stop it. And that to me is what the how and the why does. Catch yourself thinking, well, it's not fair. I got a flat tire and I'm late for this interview. It's, I got a flat tire. Why I got a flat tire has nothing to do with wanting to get to the interview on time. It has everything to do with stopping someone from getting something they wanted. So good. Frustrating.
Very.
But I look at it as kind of a good frustration. Frustration that I don't know what's going to ripen next, but elation that I know how to solve it by taking the how and the why and working with it. So good luck with your frustration. Hang in there. Okay, who's next? Katya.
Well, last year I was in the bike and I fell down, and the how is, well, was that the guy in front of me fell down and I couldn't do anything. And the why is that in the past I hurt others.
Right. So the way to not have that happen in the future is to not hurt others, not react in a negative way. So he falls over, causes you to fall off your bike. It's like, okay, I ripened that bad deed. Now I'm not blaming him. Whereas 5 years ago, he might have cussed him out and said, you idiot, why did you fall off? You caused me to fall off my bike. Instead, you say, well, I did something to cause inconvenience to another. I've just ripened that. I'm going to try hard not to inconvenience anyone else. So good. How much longer did you get injured?
No, just I have to be in bed like 1 month, and that's it.
Well, then you got injured.
Well, yes, but not too much.
Well, a month in bed sounds, well, I'm glad you're better.
Thank you.
Did your bike get damaged?
No, nothing, just me.
Just you. Only a month. Oh boy. I can't even begin to think what that. Well, anyway, the person in front wasn't your sister, was it?
No, and he and doesn't happen anything to him.
Oh, well, even better karmic ripening.
Yes.
You really burned off a nasty thing. Okay, Svetlana.
Yeah, I tend to think that I don't have enough time for practice like meditation, so on the cushion, yoga, meditation, and some other practices because I have like job at the office, and that is like how way of thinking. But it happens that when I have free time, like on Friday, I went home earlier, but I didn't have energy enough to practice. I slept, and on the weekends I didn't do yoga or something. So, and it doesn't mean then that how. The question why I don't have enough practice in my life comes from that maybe I didn't support enough other people in their endeavors, which are very important for them, and maybe disturb their minds and distract some energy from them that they couldn't be concentrated on what is really important for them. So not just but by some external circumstances, but some like internal actions.
Well, that's an interesting, the karma correlation I would think for that is you distracted others. That wasn't the word I wanted to use. You convinced others not to do something, and now it's coming back with you convincing yourself not to do something that's important to you. So instead of discouraging people, you need to encourage people, and that'll plant the seeds for you to have the energy and the desire to practice in the future. Sometimes you don't have the energy or the desire to practice, and that's when as I said before, my wife will say, I don't want to do something, and that's why I have to do it. So that's difficult. But you need the practice issue, you need to catch and go out of your way to help others with not so much their practice, but something they really want to do. It can be as trivial as someone saying, let's go shopping. And you don't want to, but you know it would make them happy. And so you do so, and you dedicate it to when you want to do something, people will let you do it or encourage you to do it. So you want to practice, and people would, instead of saying, oh, come on, you can meditate in some other time, let's go out and watch a movie, you'd be able to say, no, I need to practice, and you would. But you're setting the seeds for that by not distracting others from what they want to do. Okay, who's next? Katrina.
Я размышляла о том, что у меня до сих
I
пор
was thinking that even now I have situations when I have some obstacles and problems with internet, some bad connection, or with microphones, not everyone hears me. And it happens very often. And I understand that I am lack of seeds of good connection. Maybe I created these obstacles for myself. Maybe in my past I didn't appreciate Dharma, and now during the classes these obstacles appear. This is what I think.
Well, I would say not maybe, but for sure, because that's your karma ripening for having not making a priority. And the important thing in this discussion, it isn't to make you feel bad about something. It's to make you understand, is to help you understand the how and the why of a situation. To me, the how and the why is very liberating. It allows me to accept responsibility for what's happened and do something about it rather than blame somebody else and not think anything will happen. Knowing it's up to my actions and my karma, I can make something happen. Now, it may not be in this life, but I can set the present so my future is what I want it to be. I find that to be quite liberating and quite enjoyable. So I don't get upset. I get upset that I was ignorant in the past, but that upset just leads me to be have more wisdom in the present. That's how I try and make the how and the why. I try and make the how understanding what was wrong, and the why, the positive expression of that I can do something about it. Okay, Tatiana.
Думаю, наверное, будет лучший пример.
I think that is the best example, my relationships with relatives. When I blamed them, I was angry with them, and one time I stopped myself and looked at the situation as the result of my words, actions, and thoughts in the past. And I think that the most important achievements in this life that I met Dharma.
No.
I was 50 years old when I heard about the pen for the first time.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I have an interesting story about relatives. I have a very good friend, one of my senior students, and he was upset the way his wife's family was treating her. And one day he lost it. He got very angry. He spoke his mind, and it's caused him to get a divorce. And he's quite upset about it now. But he spoke his mind, and you'd think that would be a good thing, except he did it in a way that blamed others when what he should have said was, okay, my wife's family is not treating her the way I think they should. What do I have to do to change that? And getting angry at them, getting mad wasn't going to solve the problem. So he should have worked more diligently on his seeds to see them treat her more more appropriately. So Mark, in this case, forgot the why and reacted to the how. And I'm sad for him because it's caused him a lot of depression and grief. And I'm working hard trying to get him to get out of that. But relatives are hard. So any relationship is hard. But as long as you know the how and the why, you can solve pretty much any of these problems. You just have to have the discipline and the strength to accept these facts. And to me, the strength comes from, as I've said more than once, and I'll keep saying, it's my responsibility. If it's my responsibility, I can solve the problem because no one else can. It's my responsibility. I don't know, for some reason, I don't have to depend on somebody else to solve the problem because it's up to me. I just find that very liberating. Okay, who's next? I'm not going to pronounce your name right. Ilona? Is that right? Ilona?
Yes, it's right, Alena. One day in my life, when Dharma came to me, I had very awful relationship with my father. In my soul, I had anger, hatred, and I blamed him that in my life everything happens that I don't like. But I'm very thankful that when in my life came Dharma, I got answers for all my questions. And now I want to share with you that then when I saw in my father angel, my relationship with him just changed on 180 degrees. And now I got support from my father. And I hear him that he says he loves me. He is proud of me. And like I'm the best that happened in his life. And my soul is full of great gratitude and respect. And that my father is angel. Like even in that bad moments when, like for me, they were bad, he supported me and he gave me the strength to come to Dharma in my life.
Wow. Well, that's very inspiring. Wonderful. That's a perfect example of the power of the Dharma and how you can use the Dharma to look and see the positive. Yeah, seeing others as angels. You don't have to see wings on them. I think of angels as someone teaching me something. That's just that's wow, makes me want to cry. That's really wonderful. Good for you. Don't forget it. Don't slip and think it's my karma, but it's my karma. So, okay, Evgeny.
Я хочу поделиться такой историей,
I
которая
want to
произошла
share my story that happened last summer.
с моей мамой. Поехал навещать свою
Me
бабушку.
and my mother visited my grandmother,
Сидели на диване.
and we were sitting on the sofa, we were speaking, and mother
Тут
said,
идет таракан.
look, on the floor there is cockroach. And I saw down and I didn't see this cockroach. But my mother said, you see, here he is, this cockroach. But I saw and didn't see cockroach. And she took the shoe and beat it the floor. And she showed me this shoe with cockroach. But I didn't see this cockroach. And she started shouting at me. But I didn't drink alcohol and no drugs, but I didn't see this cockroach. And I think that it's like a pen. It depends on who sees this. Someone sees the cockroach, but someone doesn't see it.
That's fascinating. I've not had. Wow. I'm speechless. I haven't come across an example of something that clear for the idea of the pen. I don't know what to say except that you saw the emptiness of it, and it sounds like you didn't try and convince your mother she hadn't seen a cockroach. Trying to convince her not to smash it with a shoe is, well, that's another story. But wow. I'm like I said, I'm speechless. I'm at a loss for words.
Evgeny wrote in the chat that he didn't understand how it was possible.
Well, your mother had or grandmother had the karma to see something that bothered her. You know, I have to think about that, Evgeny. How could you have? Well, that brings to mind the interaction between people. So I materialized the pen, not the pen. Well, okay, the pen. I have the karma ripen. Well, no, let's go to the cockroach. I have the karma ripen to see a cockroach. And how does someone else ripen the same seed to see a cockroach or not? How do I materialize? I don't have an answer for this right now. I materialize. So Katya is at Diamond Mountain. I see Katya at Diamond Mountain, and I see her talking with her sister. Then doesn't somebody else in the same room have to see her talking to her sister? Don't they have to have the same karma? So my wife would see Katya talking to Sheila. So how we share the karma to have that happen. Because she doesn't look at me and say, Katya's not in the room, Sheila's not in the room. But there I see them and she doesn't. I'm going to have to, I will think about that. That's food for thought for the next class. I'm writing myself a note about that. That's one of the fundamental conundrums I have with seeds and ripening. It's not, I believe in karma and emptiness. I just haven't been able to explain that particular thing to me. So thank you, Evgeny. I need to write cockroach story. Okay, so what the point of the exercise was, you need to catch yourself. I try hard. Catch yourself realizing that your past is your present, the present is your future. So the 6 steps of Maitreya basically are saying the reason the future, the present is what it is because of your ignorant response to previous karma ripening. So if you want your world to be a pleasant place, you need to respond to the present with wisdom so that you're making the kind of, you're planting the kind of karmic seeds you want for the future. And it's every day, every minute of every day in this present life that you're creating your future life. So if you understand that and you react with wisdom as best you can to everything, even the joyous occasion, react with wisdom, then you're going to start you're setting the seeds for the world you want, whether it be a tantric paradise or rebirth in a human realm. Only you can set the seeds for that. It's up to you and you alone. So the 6 steps of Maitreya basically are showing how we ignorantly set the world, how we ignorantly in the past set our world to its present content or ripening. We can't do anything about that except we cannot respond ignorantly, and that's going to make our future be what we want it to be. So be thinking about the 6 steps of Maitreya constantly, and I think you'll find that you can start, you'll find yourself reacting even to the smallest good or bad deeds, reacting wisely. And you can rejoice, and that's what's going to make your future world in this life and the next lives what you want it to be. Whether it be understanding where food poisoning came from, or your relationship with your dad, or not getting angry at someone falling off a bike, making you fall off a bike. Think it constantly. What's the quote? When you meditate thus and feel not even a moment's desire for the good thing in cyclic life, then you have found renunciation. Okay, let's dedicate this. May the precious Bodhi mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. May I continue to have such wonderful students, and I look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday. Okay. Thank you for participating in the How and Why game. I appreciate it. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.